Hey guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher. Appreciate you guys coming by the channel and check it out. And I'm just sitting here at the license office waiting my turn to get in here. They told me it'd be about 45 minutes before it'd be my turn, so I thought it'd be a good time to do a video. And guys, what I want to talk about today is it sort of goes around an experience I had about 3 weeks ago fishing. I went fishing with a friend of mine, and we went out and we had a pretty good day fishing. We were fishing crankbaits and jerkbaits and jigs on one part of the lake. And then he went out the next day, he told me, right after we went back, to the lake and tried to do what we did before, and he didn't do any good at all. He just absolutely sucked, couldn't hardly get a bite all day long. And we had, like I said, a pretty good day just the day before. And he is like just scratching his head. It's like, why am I not catching them? We just caught them yesterday and the conditions are the same type of day, nothing's different, but I just can't catch any fish. So today, guys, I want to talk to you in today's video about why that is. Why you can go to a body of water or lake and you can have a good day one day and then not catch them the next. Or say, for example, you go to the lake one day and you catch them really good and somebody else is on the lake the same day and they don't catch anything. So we're going to get into that in today's episode here. Also, guys, we're getting started. A couple quick things here. Thank you big time, guys, everybody that's been going into my video description here and all the videos and using all the links I put in the description. Guys, you are really supporting the Fishing Teacher. If you're using and bookmarking my Tackle Warehouse link or my Solar Bat sunglasses or my jig link or anything like that, thank you very much for that. And also, guys, quick reminder, we are in the middle of jerkbait fishing right now here in the Ozarks. Jerkbait fishing is really good right now. If you interested in booking an on-the-water jerkbait lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, and shoot me a private message for details. So appreciate that. Okay, why is it that you do good one day and suck the next day, or you do good one day and somebody else is fishing the same lake and they don't do any good? Every situation that I have seen with this, it revolves around two different aspects. There's two reasons why this happens. Number one, you're using the wrong presentation, or number two, you're in the wrong area of the lake. That's covers it almost 99% of the time, one of those two things. So let's talk a little bit about the latter there. How do you know if you're in the right part of the lake, or why is it that it makes such a big difference? Let's say, for example, you go out one day and you're up in a major creek arm. It's got some stained water in it. Maybe the water visibility is about 2 feet, and you catch them pretty good on like a square bill crankbait, just cranking rocky banks, something like that. Just covering water, cranking rocky banks, and you have a pretty good day. Pretty easy pattern, just cranking rocky banks. There's nothing hard about it. And then you say, for example, you go out one day and do that, and then you go the next day, let's say you go 10 miles up the lake and you get into another big creek up there and you try the same thing, you don't catch anything. It's like you can't get them to bite, and you don't understand because you've done the same thing, maybe even the same day, maybe even you go to a different creek the same day and you just don't catch them. Here's the situation with that, and why you're not catching them. Number one, it probably has something to do with a water clarity change, even if it's subtle. Water clarity, as far as positioning fish and having them bite certain techniques, it is such a critical factor. And you can have, say, for example, if I'm in that area where I was catching them on the square bill crankbait, you got 1.5 feet or 2 feet of visibility. Let's say if we go down the lake and all of a sudden the water gets to it's instead of 2 foot visibility, it's 2.5 foot visibility. And that extra 8 inches of visibility is just enough to move those fish off of that same type of structure you're catching them on in a little bit more off-colored water. It can be something as simple as that. It can be something as simple as the wind direction. The wind is maybe hitting one bank right, and the next bank it's positioned differently and there's not as much wind on it. It can have something to do with the sunlight angle. One bank is set up where it's throwing a big shade line off the bank and another bank is not. All those variables play into it. And then you start to get into the same thing about technique. Let's say, for example, you're out on the lake and you're both fishing this big creek arm. You and your buddy, you're in your own boat. You're in this big creek arm, and you're both are throwing crankbaits on rocky banks. And you catch 10, and he catches 1. And then you find out, start talking to him about how only caught 1, and maybe it's because you were using a perch pattern crankbait and he was using a shad pattern crankbait, or you were using a medium fast stop and go retrieve and he was using a medium slow retrieve with no stop and go, or you were using 20-pound test line on your crankbait and he was using 10-pound test on your crankbait. There's always a reason for that. It always boils down to area or technique. So the thing that you have to realize is that you can't duplicate technique around the lake, all the time. Occasionally that is called pattern fishing, and occasionally pattern fishing can work, but most of the time there is something different or unique about a certain part of the lake that positions fish on a certain type of a structure. I've seen this all the time. I'll give you a prime example, like down at Table Rock Lake where I fish a lot. I catch a lot of fish at Table Rock Lake on these big flat main lake points on the lower end of the lake. Gravelly type points that run way out into the lake. Water visibilities, maybe say 4 or 5 foot clarity. Yet if I run, say 10 miles down the lake and I get into an area that maybe the points are still flat, but maybe they're not quite as flat, maybe they're a little bit steeper, or maybe the water clarity is a foot dirtier, and then I can't catch hardly anything off of those points. There are certain structures that fish gravitate on with really no rhyme or reason. That's the thing about it. It's like a lot of stuff in fishing that takes place, there is no explanation to it. It simply is what it is. It's like when you're talking about a color they prefer, or the speed of retrieve on a lure they prefer, or the type of structures they're in, you can theorize and you can speculate what it is, but ultimately it just is what it is, and you have to accept it with that. And that's why fishing is so difficult for a lot of people, because a lot of people have control issues and they want to try to feel like they control everything, and you can't control fish. And that's a frustrating thing for a lot of people with those type A personalities, is that they try to force stuff to work that, and they have a hard time with it. So the main thing, the little tip and advice I'll give you with this, guys, is keep an open mind, change up a lot until you hit upon something. It's like, I have what's called the 10 or 15 minute rule. I'll try an area or a different bait or a different color for 10 or 15 minutes. If it doesn't work, then I try something else. And I do that all day long and repeat that process until I hit upon something that does work. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go in the license bureau and stand in line here. Just wanted to do a quick video. Hope you guys are well. We'll talk later.